Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to see how to use Crunchbase for GTM. Now, Crunchbase is a very well-known platform, but when it comes to utilizing it for GTM, oftentimes it's just considered as a platform that will give you the recent funding, revenue numbers, and what GTM teams miss out on are the insights and indicators it offers. Now, in this video, I'll walk you through how teams can actually use Crunchbase to make calculated assumptions on buying intent, expansion signals, and prioritize accounts to reach out to. So when we first log into Crunchbase, it looks something like this, wherein we have an AI search where we can filter a direct data set, search for business models, or build a list of specific companies in a specific sector. And the other section that we see over here is the news section, wherein we can see news related to insights, predictions, as per a particular location or industry. Now let's quickly try and use the search engine over here that is there. So say for example, I want to find Web3 companies, that's one of the prompts over here, that are likely growing. So what it gives me is a complete list of those Web3 companies that are growing as per certain parameters. What I can also do is I can further filter this down, or I can further view these companies to check out what all details do they offer. For example, I have gone on this particular company. Now, Crunchbase offers multiple indicators for us to see in the company profile, wherein it starts with the funding amount, the growth score, and the heat score. The growth score is data that is created, or the predictive data that's created based on historical data of fundings, operations, market share, headcount growth of that particular company. And heat score is basically how much interest is the market showing towards that particular company. Moreover, when we say about the other details that we get the prediction insights. Now, these directly get unlocked when you are using their paid version. But to give you a quick overview, it tells us about their growth insights. It tells us about when is the next funding prediction. And it gives us a complete growth outlook as well in terms of since they started to now, how has the growth journey been. In terms of financials, we get their recent funding rounds. What was the funding amount for that particular round as well. Now, many a times when we talk about funding data, you might have heard a lot of founders, sales leaders, when they build their products, they say that our product or service is targeted towards recently funded companies or Series A funded startups. Now, that turns out to be an ICP, but not a well-defined ICP for GDM or sales teams to act upon. Why is that? Why? Because when we talk about funding data, okay, we miss out on answering three critical questions. One, is the company entering the scale phase or not? Two, will their budgets unlock in the next 3 or 6 months of getting that funding? Three, are they likely to invest in new vendors? So these are three most important questions that a GTM team needs to ask when they see the funding data. And what are the sort of insights that they can get? Say, for example, there is a company that has Series A or B funding. Now, ideally, Series A, B companies are those that have achieved certain product market fit and are looking to scale. And for them, what becomes most important over here is onboarding new tools and tech infra. And at the same time, looking at hiring more people to add on to their organization to develop their operations. When we talk about Series C plus companies or Series C plus startups, now these are companies that have scaled up to a certain level and are looking to mature in that industry. And these are companies that are looking at optimization, automation, and consolidation of all the processes, all the tools that they have. So to pitch to these different startups as per their stage is a different value proposition altogether. So just vaguely defining that let's approach Series A companies isn't going to ensure that you're going to get the output or the outcome from it or not. So you need to define the three parameters that I just listed. Moving on, we even have market intelligence when we're able to see the competitors, able to see where is that particular company ranked in comparison to the competitors itself. In terms of people, we're able to see what is their head count, and we get news related to it as well. And I'll further expand on this in their advanced search as well. In terms of technology, we get as to how many monthly visits do they have, what is their current IT spend, how many tools or website tech do they have on their platform. So these are few details that we get in terms of the company insights on Crunchbase. How to use it is completely up to us. Now let's quickly move into the advanced search. And in the advanced search, we'll see the company search. Now, when I see the company search, they have around 4 million companies listed on their platform. We start with the very basic, that is the overview, wherein we can search for specific markets, specific industries and sectors of companies. So if I'm say taking the headquarter location as India, and I want to search for fintech companies in India, since it's one of the most booming markets right now. So I'll just put in fintech as an industry. I'll put India as the location. At the same time, I want to see mid-sized companies or small to mid-sized companies. So I'll keep the employee count restricted to 500. So I now have my filtered results over here. Now in this as well, say if I want to search for a specific company in a specific segment doing something specific. For example, if I'm looking for a company that is in the lending space or lending marketplace. So what I can just simply type over here in the description keyword is lending. And I'll get all of those companies that are currently into the lending space. So this is how I can narrow down my results and look at specifically those companies who fit into my criteria or are offering what I'm looking for as per my ICP. Moreover, when I click on insight, I get the growth score. I get growth events like headcount growth or operation expansions. One of the most interesting things over here is the headcount growth. Now, when we talk about headcount growth, oftentimes we are able to analyze that where is the company spending their money. And there's sort of a hidden truth wherein people miss out on hiring or headcount growth as one of those parameters to see the scale of the company. For example, a company is hiring a lot of sales folks. That means that they are building or they are scaling their GTM. If a company is hiring a lot of tech folks, then it's ensuring that their tech infrastructure is becoming more mature. And if they are hiring, say, more operations folks, that means that they are trying to address more process problems in their system. So this is how you can analyze the hiring patterns and understand where is the money being spent. Let's take an example wherein say a company is hiring a lot of sales folks. Then the sales head for sure needs to have CRM tools and other tools to ensure that the team is being monitored. It needs data tools to ensure that the GTM teams or the sales teams are getting prospect data to do the reach outs to. It's just one example wherein such companies that are in the CRM sales space, sales enablement space can directly pitch to those companies. Coming back, when you see over here, when I talk about say other predictions or other growth scores, so if say over here the growth score is high, so that gives me an idea as to those companies are growing, are in the scaling phase. And I can further narrow down those results by using the other filters that Crunchbase offers. For example, there is the competitors, there are the financials that I can look at, say if they are series A, B funded startups or not. I can even filter based on other parameters when I talk about insights is in terms of their financial growth. So this is how you can use Crunchbase to actually narrow down and research about the companies that you would want to approach. Now, many a times the mistakes that GTM teams do over here is they only use Crunchbase for funding news and directly start approaching companies that, okay, no, this company has received a recent funding, so let's go approach them. But when a company gets funding, there is a different cycle that is followed for them to receive that funding amount, plan where they want to spend it, and then there is a budget opening that happens. Second mistake is they do build lists of companies without using the right set of filters. So you need to define exactly the right set of filters that you're looking for. For example, over here, when I put in the industry as fintech, if I just broadly go for fintech, then there are a lot of other subcategories or other subsectors over here in different cases, be it an NBFC, lending, payment aggregator, which is it that is my ICP is what I need to check by inputting the description keywords and ensuring that this does not have any misalignment with the ICP that I've set. And the last thing that GTM teams do is say if there are all series A company, then you might start treating them as equal. But the difference over here is based on the funding amount. Even if a company is in series A and raising a certain amount, it doesn't mean that another company raising series A has the same dynamics. The market reality for both companies with a certain funding is very different because they have their different goals. They have a different trajectory in place. So customizing, personalizing your outreach as per that is very, very important. So this is how you can use Crunchbase to qualify and filter out those companies that you want to approach based on the hiring trends, based on the funding trends, and the growth and other indicators that Crunchbase is offering. You can further even use this shortlisted list and check on Sales Navigator for the key decision makers and then approach them from there. And if this is something that you found useful or something that you feel can help you in terms of your research journey, then please do like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing in more such tools, sharing more such concepts on how to research companies using such databases. And thank you so much for watching this one.